Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Your host Arif Jahangiri once again with the program Community Talks. You know that from last 3 or more weeks we are actually running the campaign of the councillor election, which is going to be happen on 24th of October, but the early voting starts from the 10th of October. So the peoples who are listening my show, they must decide it that go out from their home and vote for any candidate. It's not necessary that whom we are bringing here as a guest, you can vote to anybody to whom you like. But the most important thing is that you should go out and vote for the council election, because it's very important, because a lot of policies are under the town and the cities, and it's very important that we can choose the right people so our city and our town can benefit for that one. So in today's program, we invited the 2 trustee candidates. One is from the Milton Ward 3 and 4, Tabassum Wyne. Tabassum Wyne is a great volunteer and the social activist. She is long time serving in many capacities. She is fighting for the human rights, Islamophobia, racism. I heard many things about her, and she is a wonderful candidate. She is a mother of 2 children, and I hope and I wish that she will become the trustee of Ward 3 and 4. Another candidate who is Ali Qamar is a young man as well, and he is also the father of his children, and then he also decided to run for the Ward 1 and 5 from Brampton. And I hope and I wish that these 2 candidates definitely, who also benefited from this school system and this district school boards as well, from the Peel as well as the Halton. So I hope that these 2 will bring some changes in the society, and I hope that they will win the election. Let's meet with Tabassum Wyne from Ward 3 and 4 Milton as a trustee candidate. I invited a wonderful lady and a good, excellent volunteer, and I know that she is working in Milton tirelessly from 3-4 years. I can see that her in a different capacity she is working out, and she come out this year and decided that she want to run for the trustee election from Ward 3 and 4 from the Milton. And I asked her and requested to come to the Toronto 360 so we can understand that why she decided to run for this trustee, the district Halton District School Board trustee for Ward 3 and 4. So welcome to Tabassum Wyne. Tabassum Wyne, thank you for joining Toronto 360 TV, and I really appreciate your time as well.
Assalamu alaikum, Arif. Thank you so much for having me today.
Okay. Walaikum assalam. And Tabassum, I asked this question to also many of the candidates, most of it, because this is one of the questions that always people want to know about the candidate, right? There are many people in our audience that don't know, because those people who are not living in Milton, although I am living in the Milton, so I know you very well, but our many audience don't know. So tell something about yourself first.
Sure. So I'm a mom of 2 young children. They're 5 and 6, mashallah. I'm also a wife. I've been living in Milton for about 9 years now. I'm also a not-for-profit leader. I'm the executive director of the Muslim Advisory Council of Canada, and we recommend policy solutions to each level of government. So I've been in this role for about 3 years now, and we've made a lot of progress, alhamdulillah. And the reason that I'm running for trustee is because I believe education really impacts our children. It develops them into who they are. And I truly believe policies at Halton District School Board need to be equitable to ensure our student well-being at HDSB. So I'm really passionate about education and the future of our students, inshallah.
So, because this is something which is very different, right? And I am sure that you are the mom of 2 children, and you're passionate about their education as well. And this is the right time that you yourself want to. You yourself already studied here, and you know that how the system works in the education. Now you want to focus and you want to improve the system. That's another way of looking at things. So what are some major issues, Tabassum, that you find it out that, okay, these are some major issues which I want to change in the Halton District School Board, right, as a trustee? Because there are a lot of policies, new policies are coming, and there are a lot of and budgets, because population is increasing, but the budgets sometimes is not come up to that level, right, where the requirements are there. So these are the two major factors where the trustees have to play a vital role. So other than that, what do you want to do?
Thank you so much for that question. I'm running on a platform of accountability, equity, and transparency. I believe there needs to be accountability at HDSB. I would like to introduce an accountability strategy that is informed by diverse voices to protect the most vulnerable students from harm. And I plan to do that by year 3 of being elected. In regards to equity, I'd like to introduce an anti-racism strategy at HDSB by year 2, because we know that there's a lot of systematic racism happening at Halton District School Board. Included in this anti-racism strategy is annual training for staff and teachers. Because as the data shows, 82% of HDSB employees are white, when compared to about 67.2% of Peel District School Board staff. And there's nothing wrong with being white, but when students and families don't see themselves represented, they might not choose to go into teaching as a career. So I think that's a really big, that's a really important way that we can implement change, is by hiring diverse teachers and staff. And I think we can also look at our policies, our employment equity policies. So the Ontario Human Rights Code enables organizations to develop and implement programs to help members from historically disadvantaged groups which have experienced inequities or discrimination. So these programs aim to achieve equity by creating opportunities for people who face disadvantage and discrimination. So the board can determine that perhaps specific marginalized communities are underrepresented within the board's workforce. So we can use this Ontario Human Code program to develop programs for the Black community. So there's a certain program we can develop and to hire more Black staff and teachers. Same with same for the Muslim community, same for other marginalized communities as well. And that's one of my big goals of being trustee, is to bring more representation within the workforce, inshallah.
So there are some challenges also now after the federal government and the previous provincial government, they bring the new curriculum, right? That's the new challenges, and they are the peoples who are religious-based peoples. Society is there. Especially Milton is quite conservative society. I know that there are a lot of religious-based peoples are living there. So these are one of the challenges, that how to keep the balance between that curriculum and the pupils who don't like the curriculum, right? And they always complaining, and they comes to the teachers and all. So how can you balance that program as a policy in your ward?
Yeah, so to be honest, as I door knock, I have not heard too much about problems with the curriculum. If my constituents in Ward 3 and 4 want to raise their voices, to have their trustees advocate for them, I think it's really important to email the trustees to ensure their concerns are heard. Because a trustee's role is to look at policies and see if there's any gaps that exist, so we can make the policies work for the students and the families at HDSB, inshallah.
So one of especially your ward 3 and 4, there are large Muslim community is living in your ward as well, right? And there are a lot of Muslim children are going into the schools as well. So one of the always challenges for the Muslim students in all over Canada is that the Jummah prayer, right? Especially because during the summertime, the Jummah prayers are not during the 12 p.m. or something. That should be moved to the 2 p.m. So there are some schools, they allow that children will pray Jummah in their school, but many schools not allow that one. So what should be your policy if in the Ward 3 and 4 about that type of, because, and definitely that there are other communities living, they have their own things to do as well within the school, which may be not allowing by the school principal or school administration. So how you see those type of issues coming as a policy within your Ward 3 and 4?
I would say the first step is for students to raise their concerns to their teachers, then their principal, vice principal, and then superintendents, because unfortunately, I don't believe this is the purview or falls under the purview for a trustee, because we focus on governance and policy. However, we could take a look at some human rights policies. I don't know them offhand, so I would have to review them. But I would say there is a step-by-step process for students and families to take. So contact the teacher, contact the principal, contact the superintendents. And then if they're not able to get the answers that they're looking for, or they think their human rights are being violated, then definitely get in touch with your trustees. It's always good to have communication with your trustees, and especially somebody that can advocate for you. And I'm a big advocate for human rights. So if anyone has any issues after schools, I would love to help, inshallah.
Inshallah. So one of the you mentioned that you want to see the diversity within the staff of a school, because at the moment there are a large number of only one community who is working in the school, although the diverse population is living around, right, mostly, but you not see those changes in the employment, right? And that, so how you bring that change, because teaching, you know that unions are very strong unions, right, in our country. Teachers unions are one of the most strongest union, and it's not easy to really implement the policies on the teaching, because the current government of province as well as the federal government, they both support those unions as well.
I will have to get back to you on that question. I don't have an answer to that. But I think what I mentioned about the employment equity, the Ontario Human Rights Code, that enables organizations to develop and implement programs to help members of marginalized communities that face discrimination. So we could create a special program, and I'd be willing to hear from the community about their suggestions. One of my goals is to have community engagement and community partnerships strengthened at Halton District School Board, because I believe diverse voices bring knowledge and bring experience, and we'd like to hear what the community wants. So that's really important to me: community outreach and community partnerships.
So I know that you are also chairing one of the important advisory group that's called you're the chair of Human Rights Advisory Group, right? So what are some work you did on that level of your advisory?
Yeah, so I was the co-chair of the Human Rights and Equity Advisory Committee at Halton District School Board for the past year and a half. And I worked alongside superintendents, trustees, community partners, and parents and staff. So what we did is we worked to advise on improvements to the Human Rights and Equity Action Plan. It was called the Way Forward. It reflects the HDSB's commitment to create and maintain a safe, inclusive learning and working environment free from discrimination for staff, students, and families. We also provided specific actions to which the board would be held accountable by staff, families, and community. And that can be found on the HDSB's website under the Human Rights and Equity Advisory Committee page, I believe it is.
So I know that you're running a very fantastic campaign in your Ward 3 and 4, and you are door knocking as well. So what the parents are saying to you when you're knocking the door and we are going to them and meet them, what are some of the things they want to tell you?
Yeah, honestly, I've heard really great things at the door about Halton District School Board. I've heard really, really good things about their teachers. I've engaged a lot of parents who have very young children, and so far their experiences have been very good. But I know sitting as the co-chair of the Human Rights and Advisory Committee, there are parents on there, and they share their experiences about language that is used by some staff that is inappropriate. There are times when Black students get treated differently. So we hear all these different experiences. So it's really important that a trustee has that experience hearing from diverse voices and not their own community. So I'm not only hearing from the Muslim community, I'm hearing from a multitude of communities. And inshallah, I'm a strong advocate, but it will take the community informing me of what's going on. And I hope to just raise their voices and their concerns at a policy level, inshallah.
So what's the last message you want to give you, the voter of your Ward 3 and 4?
So whoever you vote for, I'd really like you to get out on October 10th to 16th to vote early. I'd obviously love to gain your support. Please vote for Tabassum Wyne for your Halton District School Board Trustee. You also have October 24th to vote as well. And please vote for all the candidates that are running in your ward, and just ensure that you get out and vote. This municipal election is very important. So please commit to voting on those dates that I mentioned. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Tabassum Wyne, and I really good luck to you, and I really wish you best of luck that you will win the election of trustee Ward 3 and 4, and you will serve the community in your best capacity, and we are really proud of you, what you're doing. So after Tabassum Wyne, I have another trustee candidate from Brampton, and we invited him to Toronto 360 TV, and he is Mr. Ali Qamar. Ali Qamar is a chartered accountant by the profession, and he takes most of the education in the Peel District School Board. So today we invited him. Ali Qamar, thank you for coming to our Toronto 360.
Thank you.
Thank
you for having me here.
Okay. So Ali, tell me that some things about yourself, because people want to know, our audience want to know that. Who is Mr. Ali Qamar?
Well, my name is Ali Qamar. I grew up in Mississauga. I came here at the age of 11 in 1997. I went to the schools through here. Obviously, as a first-generation Canadian, we all struggle. We all face challenges. And this is not something unique to me. It is a common story for all of us. Mm-hmm. When I struggled, in my initial years, I was bullied to a point that I decided to go to a different high school 3 years later, meaning I had to change my direction. And one of the reasons we have that issue is because it's not that the parents don't want to fight for the students, or it's not that they don't want to raise the issues, it's how we do it. As a trustee, our role and responsibility is to work directly with the residents, the community, the neighbors, and the families to ensure that we advocate for policies that reflects the needs of the students, the parents, the community, and the neighbor. And that is essentially the most important advocacy to create a safe learning environment for not only my children, but all of our children in the community, in Brampton, in School of Peel.
Excellent. So Ali, I'm sure that during your education time, you faced a lot of challenges as well, right? So what are some major issues that you yourself also feel that challenges, right? Face those challenges. And when you're knocking the door nowadays, and what you're hearing from the parents as well?
It's one thing that, we are aware that there are systematic barriers and challenges in schools with relation to specifically discrimination and inequality amongst children of color. And that is a fact-based research, and there was action taken about 2 years ago by the ministry because there were so many recorded and documented issues. For me, when I struggled with racism or bullying, that was 25 years ago. And today I'm a chartered accountant. I forgot about all those issues. But what resonated is when my own 2 children go to school here, it became really important because I invested in their education. I invested in their betterment. As a father, I have learned how to navigate and fight the system when needed. But I don't think every parent is able to. Not that they don't want to, but they don't know how to. And as we grow within our first generation Canadians that have come from different lands and different places, we do realize that approximately 48% of Peel students are from South Asian background. There are challenges that are extremely relevant that were there 25 years ago, and they are today as well. And for that reason, if I can fight for my children, and if you are capable, democracy only works when capable people step up and give their services back to the community. And that is what my intention is. That is why I'm running as a school board trustee in Brampton.
One of the challenge, Ali, that I feel, especially you are living in the Brampton, right? And in the schools, every school, there is a drug use, right? And outside in the high schools, especially, the drugs are selling outside the schools as well. And there's no policies. I didn't see that any policies on the trustee level that how to control these issues, and because the federal and provincial laws protect those type of cannabis. Cannabis is now all over the country, right? Is legal. You cannot stop if somebody is selling beside your school even. So these things is coming. I see more in the Brampton and Mississauga is increasing now. In every high school, this is an issue.
Absolutely. And this is not a new issue,
Yes.
right? I don't have the statistics behind it, but I can tell you intuitively, yes, when legalization happens, when even before that, all the, before I was in school, before the legalization, everything was accessible within school.
Yeah.
It's very difficult for school administrators to fight that without the intervention of local government, municipalities, and the police force. So the intervention is required at a different level, but as we learn about the schools and the area I'm going to be functioning in, if those are the issues that are prevalent in the schools that we are at, we need to raise that to the higher government. So as a trustee, you hold the board accountable, and the trustees are held accountable by the Minister of Education.
Okay.
And for me, having a safe learning environment does not only mean equity in classroom, but also having a safe learning environment from other usage, whether it's drugs, smoking, or any of that factor. There is a need to implement stringent control. It won't be in schools. It has to be outside of schools. So what we need to do as a community, we need to advocate that if we have an issue rising within a certain pocket, we need to make sure that the levels of government that are accountable to enforce, whether it's the age limit of consumption or purchase, those are being reflected and being controlled. That's the only way, that's one of the major critical ways how to address this.
So this is definitely on a school level and different government level. People have to work together to really resolve this issue, and it's not an easy issue. It's gone ongoing since you are taking the education in the Peel board, but this is a challenge, right? So one of the issues which is I feel that in the Peel is also increasing because the diverse teachers are coming in and they are coming from their background, right? They have their own mindset as well. And the children are there and they are also from different part of the community. So there are a lot of discrimination that children is complaining about. She didn't give me the number because she is this, right? I am this, that's why, right? This type of children I saw that they are complaining about. I hate that teacher, right? Something like that. So how the policy on the trustee level make sure that the teachers are also monitored, they are doing the right thing when they are marking any children, not on the basis of their background, they are discriminating some sort of. How you monitor those things?
So the discrimination, if I understood your question correctly, is the teachers that are coming new as first generation, they have a certain bias with the students that are in the system.
Yep.
As a trustee, we need to hold the administration accountable to make sure that, first of all, we should have hiring practices that enable teachers of all backgrounds in the system, because that is a reflection of the demographics in the school, which is needed.
Which is needed.
How we curtail or how we address the issue of any kind of bias by a teacher, we need to definitely raise that And the only two ways to deal with that is, first of all, identifying the problem and creating a statistics behind it. If there are issues that are prevalent in a certain community, a certain school, what a trustee needs to be doing is be accessible to that parent council, be accessible to the student trustee to make sure that those voices and concerns are being heard and reflected in the policy, in the direction we need to take as a board. And that is where this starts from, and this is how you curtail it. And on an ongoing basis, as you know, Peel District School Board was under a watch for the last 2 years because of systematic racism and inequality.
That's right.
with people of color. And the way this is being addressed is there are 27 directives, and part of those directives are also measuring the outcomes, measuring and monitoring the actions that are being taken from complaints such as this. So we have great policies on paper. And paper.
But what about the implementation?
How do we implement that, and how do we raise
or monitor them? Most important thing is, yes, implementation may be C, but the monitoring is not enough there, right?
Yeah. So how do we bring that accountability? How do we bring that change? We need a change in representation. I am running against somebody who's been there for over 19 years.
Okay.
When I was basically in school. 19 years for our representation in the same capacity is way too long. For education, you need progress. You need a change in ideas. And you know, a change in vision does not necessarily mean that you fight the old system, rather you create a new vision. My vision is that we live in a society which has multiple generation of different, you know, we have first generation Canadians, we have my children who are born here now, living in a multi-generational house. They have a different way of upbringing and different socio-cultural impact versus other people that are in school. We need to have policies that reflect the needs of our community. And the way you do it, you build a new vision for a better change. You need to make sure that you elect people that are capable, that have a voice, that have experiences within the education system, that have fought within the system and have succeeded in the system. Because the only way that you bring about a meaningful change is when you have students who were here within the schooling system, who have experienced those struggles and fought those struggles and succeeded in life. And how we go back is supporting those candidates like myself, that I truly believe that I want to be raising voices for all of our children, not only my children. For me, I am capable of fighting and raising voice for my own children, but not every parent is, not every student is aware. And for that, we need a sincere leadership that brings that meaningful vision. And we can't have a trustee for 19 years. You elect them again, that's a quarter century. This is not how education moves forward.
So one of the challenge definitely is there, and you rightly mentioned that, and that we have to modernize our schools, and we have to bring the new initiative really, and change is required every time, because the whole we are living in a most era where we are living in an era of wireless era. We are living in a digital era. We are living in an era where artificial intelligence is working everywhere. So we are living in an era where the humanity never saw this era before. So, but we see that in the school still there are so many practices going on, which is not required really in today's world.
So there's no one size fits all. There is never a strategy that one size fits all. That we understand from the different practice, even in the corporate culture. There's never a one size fits all.
Yeah, definitely.
But the overarching theme has to be correct. You need to have the right leadership to bring that vision to the students, to the school administration. You have to work cohesively together with the parent council. If you're saying accessibility to, let's say, cell phones in school, is that a reason of is that a reason of a problem? Maybe there's policies that we do require more enforcement in terms of how we use it. not monitoring it, rather how we use it. It's, like great technology enables us to do great things, but the same technology can also hinder learning environment. If there is a hindrance in learning and safety of our children and our teachers, that is definitely a policy that needs to be reviewed and reflected. And that is one of the main platforms that I have, is fighting bullying has actually evolved. Because now there's cyberbullying as well. There are recorded incidents where people of the same school are facing issues and challenges. Let's say even things like online gaming. This is not even school environment. This is from your home, and how people are partnering up with them or how they're being sidelined. How do we address that even outside of school? One of the things that we need to do is come up with a way, how do we hold parents accountable and train them?
Yeah, the parents and the teacher have to, and the whole trustee and everything have to work together.
Yeah.
Without working together, you cannot resolve the issues of
Absolutely.
everything. What's the message you want to give your voter?
So on October 24th, my name is Ali Qamar. I am running as your school board trustee. I live in the ward. My own 2 children go to school here. I went to Peel School myself. Today, I am running because I want to give back to my community, my neighbors, my city. And this is in return with services, which is, as a school board trustee, I want to be able to raise the voice, vocalize, and advocate for all of our community. And top 3 issues, equity has to be priority. We fight for all students. And this is something which we think that we have gone beyond and we have addressed it. This is not true. 2 years ago, we know how, the outcome of the Peel Board study, where 2,000 people participated and there were documented issues with racism and inequality. Having a safe learning environment is the most important and critical aspect on for any children's potential. For my job, my platform is to ensuring that we provide a safe learning environment which enables all of our children to reach their full potential. And lastly, there are children with different abilities. There are children that are high achievers. How do we enable the use of technology to ensure that they are able to rise and thrive in this developing culture and social aspects with the use of technology? That is what I'm running for, and I'm hoping that I will be a trustee that is accessible, that is available, that actually listens to the parents' concerns and raises it to the board. So my name is Ali Qamar, and I do hope that you go out and vote on October 24th.
Thank you, Ali Qamar, and we wish you best of luck that in the upcoming election, you will become the trustee of Ward 1 and 5 from Brampton.
Thank you for having me here, and always available.
So I hope that you liked today's program as well. We try our best to introduce the pupils who are running for the councils, towns, and the cities as a mayor, as a trustee, or as a councillor. And I hope that you enjoy the program of today and you get a lot of information from these candidates. Inshallah, next week, Arif Jahangiri will join with the community talks as well. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.